New York. Unique New York. Okay. Welcome to the Teaming Up Show, your guide to the future of real estate. I'm Josh Pomerleau, joined again by the one and only B. McWhite.
There's only one of me.
There is only one of you. One and only, that's why I said it.
So today we're going to be talking about vision. Vision matters a lot more than most people think. I think a lot of people think vision and mission statements and things
I know.
like that.
That's when I'm just like,
it's kind of fluffy.
I think fluffy right even when you're talking about this.
It's something you put on the wall and then ignore forever.
Right.
But we tend to think it matters a lot more than even we probably realize.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things from the high up matter a ton and don't get done, obviously, and you can't even see why it's important. But you know, I was having a conversation with an agent, a friend of mine, and we were talking about what his goals were. And what I thought was really revealing to what his goals are is actually what's exactly happening in his business. And you know, his vision is to get to a place where he can just do a little bit less appointments, make a comfortable income, and kind of stay there. But then I look at my whole thought process behind that is that's tougher than going for something really large, because when you're doing that, you can't hire any great people because they're going to even have lower opportunities than what you're going to have there. So if you're barely just to where you wanted to be, maybe barely there or just under that, think about the people that are going to be inside the organization and have what other opportunities they're going to have. They're not going to have much.
Right.
So we'll go ahead.
Not only that, but I think that one of the ways you get the best people is by having a great vision and actually believing it and embodying it and executing
some of it. Yeah.
I think that there are people at the Pomerleau team who are excited to be at the Pomerleau team, not just because they're going to make a good living, but because your vision, your and Sarah's vision has captured them.
Yeah.
They're excited to go to work for that reason.
Yeah, again, it's very non-tangible, and I think you have to be able to prove that you can execute.
Exactly.
It starts really small.
It's one thing to have a slogan.
I know.
It's another thing to have it.
Because that's what I'm thinking, like 95, 99% or whatever, is that have the slogan, this big vision, and then you look at the person and what their daily activities are, and you go, well, that's not really going to happen.
Right.
So what do you do to have this great big vision? And of course, even with us having such a great big vision, there's days where you're just like, man, we're not where we want to be. We're not moving fast enough. We could always be doing something a little bit better. We do something, we take 4 steps back, and we're like, oh man, and we got another year, and we move things around. You know, it's constant that.
But most of us know that, and we expect that,
right,
and we plan for that, but we're inspired by the big vision. In fact, my wife and I joke around sometimes that when Josh Pomerleau lays out his grand plan for our lives and lays out his great plan for our business, if you just back it off by about 33%, that's about where we're going to land. That's about where we're going to land.
Man,
but the great thing is that everyone's inspired by Josh's vision. And we all know that if you land about a third short of where Josh projects, that's still an awesome place to be.
Yeah, that is.
So it does serve a function.
Right, and so that goes into exactly what we're saying is if your vision is to make a couple $100,000 and take it, kind of get to a place where you can kind of take it easy, that's never going to happen.
You're going to end up at 66,000.
Yeah. You're going to end up at 66,000, and no one's going to be able to be inside of your organization.
Exactly.
So very important. I wish I could get more of a, in this video, I wish we could get more of a, how do you make it happen? Because everyone gets in real estate and has this vision. I mean, how many agents have we talked to and they said, oh, I don't really have a vision. I don't care how many houses I sell. Every single one of them talks about building a team, getting to financial goals that they never thought they could get to, having experiences that they see other very successful people have. What could we instill into someone to be able to have that big vision, not be a person that has a big vision and lives in their mom's basement for 10 years because they can't execute on their vision?
I think
what can we do to tell them to execute?
I think that vision always needs to be broken down to the granular level by asking all the why questions. I mean, of course, Gary Keller makes famous the big why question, right?
Which I've heard in
why,
books
other books as well. But why do you want the big team? Why do you want to hit that number? What does that get you exactly? Well, it gets me X amount of dollars in X amount of hours. Why do you want that? What are you going to do with that? Well, then I can have this kind of life. Why do you want that kind of life? What does that get you exactly? And I think once you start to break things down to that level, people start to understand, okay, not only their own motivations, but how they can use their own motivations to get what they want, to work toward what they want.
Do you think that getting what they want is, what do you think is more important, getting what they want or helping other people get what they want?
I think that depends on the individual. I think there are going to be people watching this video who, if you're honest with yourselves, you know that you have self-centered motives.
Well, for sure. We all do in some ways.
And many people with self-centered motives make great companies.
Right.
So I'm not going to knock that.
Right.
I don't think that's us.
No.
I think that we've found that having other-centered motives in our work is not only productive, but makes us more useful human beings in the world. Right. And in the lives of the people who work with us, and in the lives of our clients. So I don't know if I'm going to say yes, you have to plan other-centeredness. Yeah. But I sure commend it.
Yeah, and I think, that's kind of why I was asking that question. I think we've always had that. I mean, I do believe that there is always when you take care of yourself, you're going to be able to take care of others. So there's a little bit of that, but I do always look at when we make decisions like, is it going to work for this person? Is it going to make their lives better? And I think if you can truly get out of the way, if you can just get yourself out of the way, you have a way easier chance with having a vision that gets executed. Yep. And other people that are going to join you. But you have to really care about the other person more. Yeah. And it's tough. I mean, you have to fight. You're going to get to a certain place if you make a couple $100,000 and you're going to be looking around, and if you don't care about other people, in my opinion, I think you're going to just be lost and sad. You're going to get there and you're going to realize, well, people are more important than money. Yep. And so that's why if you start with that thought in the beginning, it's going to be a lot easier for you to get to where you want to get.
That's faster. Josh Pomerlow Vision 101 right there. The reason I came onto the team originally was because I believed Josh's passion for helping other people create great lives within the company and helping our clients have a great life in the small time that we interact with them. Yep. And that drives down to the way that we do pay. It drives down to the way that we treat people in the time that they need away for vacations or maternity leave or whatever it is. But that's how, you can just see how that vision drives through everything the Pomerlow team does. Yep.
Good thought.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us for this episode of the Teaming Up Show. We believe that real estate teams are the future of the real estate industry. So we want to provide some helpful resources and tips, and so we'd love for you to keep joining us for this.
Yeah, and if you have any questions or you want us to talk about something, let us know. We'd love to. A lot of our topics have been from other classes or interactions with real estate agents. Mm-hmm. But if you have something, let us know, and we'll definitely elaborate on it. We probably have seen it, and if we haven't, we'll give maybe a couple or 2 cents on it, at least an opinion on it. So
perfect. See you next time.
Yep.